Hi there, my name is Letitia Pfinder and welcome to my channel for day 5 of 7 days of Christmas cards. So today we're making a snowman shaker card and I'm really excited to do this with you guys because it's such a fun interactive card. Alright, so to start I just have a scrap piece of white cardstock that I'm just applying some gold glitter glue to on both sides. I just got this glitter glue from the dollar store and it was years ago, but I'm sure you can still find some pretty good ones there now. And I'm just using my heat tool to help it dry a bit because I did apply it to both sides, and this particular glue is really wet, so it really sunk into the paper and it was taking a while to dry, so I wanted just to set it a bit and then I set it off to the side so it could finish drying for the end of the card. And to start, I just have a pre-folded card from Forever in Time, and it's a white base, and I cut out some white cardstock to fit the exact size of the top of the card. So I'm going in with that mat that I've cut. That's the same size as the card with the white cardstock, and I'm using my stamping tool, and I'm just going ahead and using some washi to keep everything in place. The stamps that I'm using today are just Chillin by Clear Impressions, like I've been using in the rest of these videos. And I'm just using the little snowman. I'm using a little bit of washi just to mark off or mask off the top of his head because I am going to be placing a hat on top of him, so I didn't want that little part to stamp. Now that I'm happy with the impression, I can go on and stamp his little hat. And I'm just placing it where I want it and then picking it up with the tool, inking it up, and I'm using Momento Tuxedo Black. And there he is now, he's got a little hat on. And through the magic of editing, I now have my cutting mat under me, and I'm just using like an X-Acto knife or craft knife to cut out his middle parts. I will also go in and cut out his face because I'm going to restamp it on the base of the card, so you'll see that in a moment as well. Remember, you gotta be very careful with this part too. Don't want anyone hurting themselves trying to follow a tutorial I've created. And if it's really beneficial to you to move the card around while you're cutting it out, please do so. I just didn't want to move it around too much for you guys, so that made it a little more difficult, but you move it around as much as you need to get into those little spaces and not hurt yourself. Alright, so to do his face, I just went in and I stamped my Momento Tuxedo Black, and then went in with a baby wipe, and I wiped off any excess that had got around his face, and I also wiped the ink off of his nose, because I go in with my ColorBox Petal Point ink, and I just use the orange from that to dab it on his nose, so he's got a carrot nose. And just stamp it right in the middle. And that is stamped right onto the base of the card and not the cardstock, obviously, that was just cut out. And I'm just using washi to hold both of those cards together right now. Then I've just gone in with some pencil and I've drawn a little snow hill behind him there and gone over it with my Copic Multiliner. Now again, I'm using Copics to color, but you guys can use whatever you like. I'm just going in with a green there. I'm just doing some really simple coloring with this one. Just simple red and green, and then what I usually use for the snow, which is C1 and BV31, which is pale lavender. So just go in with a light base of C1 and then go over it again with the BV31. Oh, and the red was Lipstick Red, which is R29, and the green is Nile Green, which is G07. And I'm going with my Snowflake stamp, and I'm just doing some first and second generation stamping. So I've gone in with the lighter blue, and I've inked it up and stamped it, and then without wiping it off or adding any more ink, I stamped it again, and I just did that until I was happy with the pattern behind it. Now, I don't buy acetate. I just use the packaging that comes from my pre-folded cards, or if I get any other packaging from stamps or anything like that, that might work for the backing. And I just went ahead and cut some of that out. So it's a good tip, you know, if you want to save a few dollars, it'll help you out. And I'm just using some craft glue and then putting it around the snowman and placing that acetate just right on top there. It's just clear plastic packaging. And you know what, you find it on everything, so it's really easy to find. And I'm just trimming it a bit because I don't want any edges snagging on anything or stopping the foam adhesive that we're going to put on from adhering to the actual paper. I want it to adhere to the paper and not to the plastic so it doesn't pull on it. So I'm just going in with some 3M foam tape. Now my foam tape is pretty old. I think it's a few years old now, so it's actually yellowed a bit on the sides. So I'm not using it around the edges of the card because I did that with my first card and I learned quickly because you can see it around the edges, all that yellowing. But I go in with a newer tape later and add that around the edges so that you can't see that. So just keep that in mind if your tape is older like mine and has yellowed. You might want to maybe buy some newer tape and stick that around. You can get it from the dollar store. I think I've gotten mine from Dollar Tree, which is where my foam adhesive is from. And they're just like little circles and whatnot that you can buy already pre-cut, so they're really useful. So I'm just going in and I'm measuring. I don't want the foam tape to show under the snowman, so I'm just tracing out where I want this foam tape to lay. And I'm just boxing in that snowman because we're going to be filling it with little snowflakes and sequins, and it's going to be really fun and shaky and sparkly. So we can't have any holes on the sides. And also just a tip, I've actually doubled the foam tape before I put it down, so it's doubled up. It's 2 layers of foam tape just to give it the height that it needs to be able to shake around. Or move around, I should say. Right, so now that that glitter is dry, I went in with my little snowflake punch. I actually got this from the $1.50 section at Michael's, which was a pretty good buy. I've used it quite a few times now. And I'm sure I will use it in many years to come. I actually believe it's made by Recollections. I don't have it right in front of me, but I'm pretty positive that's who it's by. So if you see one, I think they're a great buy. So I'm just going with some green sequins. I'm using a few different colors, and these are by Craft Medley, and I just got them from the Dollar Tree, so definitely check out your dollar store. So here are the little foam adhesive pre-cut pieces that I'm sticking around the edges because they are nice and bright white, so they won't show. And at the bottom there, I didn't have enough room to put some whole ones, so I just cut them in half. And then it's time to adhere the whole thing together. No shaker cards look really intimidating, but this was actually very simple to make. And I'm really impressed with how it turned out. It's a really fun card to do. And you press it down and make sure it's all stuck down good and tight. Test it out. It's just time to add some finishing touches. So I went in with some Stickles and just added some silver dots, some silver glittery dots for more snow. And that would just tie the whole card together with the silver sparkliness inside of the snowman as well. And here's a fun little tip for you. I go in with some cotton, like a cotton ball, and I undid it because they were like wound up. And I just cut a little itty bitty tiny piece off, and I glued it on with some craft glue onto his little pom-pom on top there, and that's why I didn't color it in. And it just adds more texture, more fun to the card. It makes it more interactive, and it's definitely a fun card to get in the mail, I think. I would love to get this card in the mail. And there you have it. That's it. That's my shaker card. So it was really fun, really easy. I hope you guys try it out. It might be a little hard to maybe mass produce them, but they're definitely fun to sit there and try to figure out. So if you guys make one, be sure to share it with me. And there's only 2 more days left. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that we're almost at the end of this. Thank you so much for watching and, you know, continuing to watch because I'm having so much fun with this. And until next time, my crafty friends.